Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Professor David J. De Los Reyes. What I will be discussing tonight is the so-called method of tracing the signal for an amplifier. What I have here is actually a circuit board, and this circuit board comprises of many components, capacitors. This is an amplifier IC. I think this is a voltage regulator. Okay. The use of this board is actually an amplifier for a certain circuit. So this will be the output thing. Originally, the output here is actually a headphone jack. But I don't want to use the headphone jack while I am troubleshooting, so I just soldered what you call this, a speaker to the terminals at the back. It got the red and the black, and this is soldered. And the specification of this speaker is 8 ohms, 0.5 watts. I want to make this amplifier alive, but I don't know where the location of the so-called audio input for this one. For the power input, I was able to trace the power input here. The power input is here. This brown thing here is the negative, and this white thing here connected to this red terminal on my power supply is actually the positive supply of this audio amplifier board. So we got the speaker now, we got the power supply, but the problem is the audio input to the amplifier, it was not specified on the circuit board. So as a technician or as an engineer or as an electronic enthusiast, okay, I tried to bring out the specification of this. This is an audio amplifier IC. It's a 16-pin IC. Okay. I was able to get the specification of the different legs, but specifically terminal number 3 and number 8 could be the audio input to this audio amplifier board for us to bring a sound on the speaker. So what I did is that I got a what you call this headphone jack. I place it on my FM receiver. Since I just use one speaker, I just utilize one of the wires over here. So I just brought out 2 wires here, meaning the black thing and the brown. The brown is actually where the signal is coming in, and the black here is actually the ground. Okay? The black is the ground. So I got only one more problem, is where to inject the audio input for this audio amplifier to sound. Okay? So the ground of the headphone jack is actually connected to the ground of the power supply. It's the same. That's common for electronic circuit. So my only problem now is where to inject the audio for this audio amplifier to operate. And this FM receiver is now set to 89.3 megahertz. So by trial and error, okay, I will be this is the terminal of the audio input, and I don't know where to place this one. So by trial and error, I poke this one to the terminals here, and I was able to find that the audio input should come into this resistor here. Okay? So I will put the terminal to the audio.
Wow, I really missed the mark.
Wait, a little break from the conversation, although it is a good conversation. So the things that just happened, that was a real conversation. I feel like understood something about you they didn't know before, and I feel like we're connected
And that's it.
in some way. Because
At the end of this resistor is where the audio input should come in, the signal. I did that by trial and error. Okay, so as you could hear it, the speaker is now sounding, and this sound actually emanates from the FM receiver. If I would like to increase the volume of this one, I could increase it.
Clearly you had listened to me. I was asking you if I'm getting this right, and I'm repeating back a little bit what I heard
Right?
you say. And then the other
So
thing that was
it's
happening in that conversation, I
working.
think is really important, is that we were matching
This
each
is
other
the
even
so-called signal
in
tracing
non-linguistic ways.
and
So
troubleshooting.
when you laugh, I laugh back, and when
You
I
don't
laugh,
know.
you laugh back, and we sort of made noises to
You
show
don't
each
know
other
where
that
to
we're paying
insert the
attention.
audio because
And
you
one of
don't
the
have
things
the
that we know
schematic.
is that this
But
non-linguistic or
as an
nonverbal communication
experienced
is really important.
technician or an
And there's
engineer
studies
or
that
as
show
an
that
electronic
80% of the
enthusiast,
time when we laugh, it is not
actually
in
I have done
response to
this in my
anything
old
funny. Like nobody
troubleshooting.
has told a joke.
You
And I
just
have
get
not
the
told any jokes
terminal
in this
and try to
conversation.
poke to the
But we
different
laugh to
terminals,
show the other person that
and
we
if you
want to
poke to
connect with
something
them.
it
And
and
when
it
they laugh
sounds,
back, you're
that's
showing
where
us that
the
they
audio
want to
signal
connect with
should
us.
come in.
And so super
And I was
communicators like
able
yourself, I'm gonna
to
argue you're a super
pinpoint that
communicator.
the audio input
Super
should be
communicators
at
like
that far
yourself,
end of
they
the
become aware
what
of
you
this.
call
They
this
actually practice this.
the
They pay a
green
little bit more
resistor over
attention
there. Okay, I
to
will try
how
to
to
remove
connect
this
with other
one
people, and it's
to
just
show
that
you
paying
that
attention.
that was really the entry point. Okay, so by trial and error, I was able to find that the audio input should come into this resistor here.
Connection from when they're experiencing this kind of connection.
That's exactly. And what's interesting is
Right?
none of us
You got
are
it?
born knowing how to do this.
So
We're all born
I will now
wanting to
make
do it.
a
That
final
feeling that you
soldering
get
of this
after a
one.
great
I
conversation
will
of
just
well-being,
solder
that
this
craving to connect with
audio
other
input
people,
to this
that's been
to
baked,
this
or that's been
resistor,
hardwired into our brains by
and the
evolution.
other
But
connection is
nobody's a
actually to the
natural
ground
super
connection.
communicator. We become
Okay,
super communicators
and
by
I was
learning the
able
basic
to bring
skills
out
that allow us to
the
connect with others
audio
and
coming
interact.
from this M
Because our
receiver
brain is designed to
passing
be so good
to
at
this audio
communication. Our
amplifier.
brain will make those into
Okay,
habits, those skills and
the
habits
power
very, very
supply I use
quickly.
this one.
But we just have to practice some a
I
little bit,
use
which means
9
sometimes
volts.
going into a
So
conversation with, say, your taxi
between
driver
the
and
black
asking
and the
a
red,
deep
it's
question
9 volts.
just to see how it feels.
I connect the
Just to
ground
remember
of
this.
the
There's a guy named
headphone
Nicholas
jack to the ground of
Chicago who
the
studied deep questions a lot. And he plays
power
this game where he'll get on a bus
to the
and
power
he'll sit down
supply.
next to a stranger, and his
And
goal
like what I
is to
said,
get to
the
their
only
hopes and
problem now
dreams
is
with
where
three
to insert the
questions,
audio.
which sounds really
And
hard
by
when you
trial
told me
and
about
error,
this.
I was
But
able to
oftentimes he just says
pinpoint
to
that
them,
the
what do you do for a
entry
living?
point of
Person
the
says,
audio
I'm an
will be
accountant.
at that
He says, oh, did you always
resistor
dream of being
end.
an accountant when you were a kid?
Okay,
Right? Within 2 questions,
this
he
is
starts with tricks.
the
And of course, the
procedure.
person often says, are you nuts?
Okay,
No,
I will try to shut off the radio. So this is the proper way on how to look for the entry point of an audio. If you do not know the entry point because it was not specified on the circuit board, okay, it's a trial and error. You just get the other terminal, then try to hook it to any terminal here. It will not hurt. Okay, this is a low voltage circuit. The applied voltage is only 9 volts. So if you try to poke the terminal for the audio in, it will not hurt if you to make it a trial and error moving this terminal to look for the entry point of the audio. Okay, good evening from Los Angeles. This is Professor David J. De Los Reyes. What I have discussed is actually the so-called audio input tracing for us to place the proper terminal for the audio input. Good evening from Los Angeles.